This is Mike Newcomb from the Japan Society of New York, and I'm here at the 2009 Anime Festival, and I'm getting the chance to speak with Travis Willingham.
Yes, you are indeed.
Yes, I am indeed. So Travis, thanks a lot for taking time out of your busy schedule today to speak with me. So first I wanted to ask, what is the main thing you are here promoting?
This weekend we'll be promoting the new release of Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. It's kind of not really the second series, but it's, I think they've created a new Fullmetal Alchemist series based more on the manga. So it's kind of in line with the first series, but this one is more along with the manga, and the storyline changes pretty quick. I think they've said that it's going to be a season or two, and within the first couple episodes, it already starts to depart from what people have seen before. So we're here promoting that, as well as the FMA OVAs, which were some I guess you would call them fan-generated videos of the characters doing different crazy things, and we just released that on DVD as well, so we're here selling that.
You play Colonel Mustang on Fullmetal Alchemist?
That's right, the Flame Alchemist, Colonel Roy Mustang. Yeah.
So when you come to these giant conventions like this, is it unusual to see people cosplaying as Colonel Mustang because you helped create that character at all, or?
Unfortunately not. The show's been out so long that I think the number of Mustangs I've seen is probably up in the thousands. My favorite now is seeing the cross-gender Mustangs. So you'll see a couple female Miss Mustangs walking around, or even better yet, male Mustangs in the miniskirt line of cosplay. Yeah. Well, he's got that line, the tiny miniskirt line. And you gotta love the fans that take the liberty of throwing a miniskirt into the military uniform. I know. How could you not? How could you resist? Yeah.
So also, one of the interesting things that I'm sure many people find about voice acting in particular is that your performance rests solely on your ability to, change your voice in accordance to what's supposed to happen. Right. But what's the hardest character you've ever had to create while you were voice acting?
Wow, it's kind of strange. My first few years in voice acting, I was lucky enough to do voices that were kind of in my range, so I didn't have to alter my voice too much. One of the new roles I have is a character called he is the Hulk in Marvel Superhero Squad, which is on Cartoon Network, and for that voice I really had to drop it down in like my very, very bottom register, and because he's kind of a dimwit, and you kind of just slur the way he talks, so you drop the voice down a lot, and then you kind of roll everything so people can't understand what you're saying, and then like I love kitties sounds even funnier, and stuff like that. But for other parts, sometimes it's just the difference between speaking normally and speaking very quiet. In Mushishi, like with Ginkgo, it was just a matter of like almost whispering on the microphone. It's like very quiet and very subtle.
Yeah. So you also do some live action work as well. I saw a really interesting interview that you were doing, kind of a Q&A session, where I learned that you have been punched by Robert Duvall in the face. Right. Is that true?
Yeah, that was Secondhand Lions. We did that in 2002, I think it was, and we had a fight scene where there were a few hoods. I guess they called us hoods. There were like four of us, and we got into this fight in a restaurant with Robert Duvall, and the day of the shoot, they decided to put him in place of his stunt double because he wanted to do it. We're like, oh crap, now we're in a fight scene with multiple Oscar winner Robert Duvall. And he decides to hop in there. They take an hour, teach it to him, and I had the very first punch of the fight, and it's this big, like, swinging right roundhouse, and sure enough, he didn't really remember his choreography very well, and I almost knocked out Robert Duvall because he just stood there when he was supposed to duck, and I was like, ah! Oh my God. But at the end of the fight, I'm the guy that kind of keeps getting back up, and he's just supposed to throw a punch like at my face, right? And he's supposed to throw it to the opposite side of my head because, camera can't tell depth, and I'm supposed to snap my head back, and man, if he didn't just punch me dead in the face like 3 times, 3 different takes in a row, once in the mouth, twice in the nose. And by the 4th time, I was like flinching away from the punch, and he was like, "What?" He's like, "What's the matter?" I'm like, "You're hitting me, man. You're hitting me in the face." And he was like, "Well, you're a stunt man." I'm like, "No, Mr. Duvall, I'm an actor." And he's like, "Who's been letting me punch this guy in the face? What's going on?" So then he threw me a $500 stunt bump, and I didn't complain anymore. I know. Thanks for letting me punch you. Here's $500.
Done any other live action films or anything recently? Were you in A Secret Getaway, was it? Or A Perfect Getaway?
Yeah.
Right, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, Perfect Getaway. We shot it in San Juan, Puerto Rico. I was there only for a couple days doing like 1 or 2 scenes. I was in the very beginning playing a jerk older brother who's making an ass of himself at his younger brother's wedding. But it was a lot of fun. I played Steve Zahn's older brother, and he's hilarious. And Mila Jovovich is still amazingly hot. Really hot.
But nobody punched you in the face this time?
Punching in the face, no. She might have wanted to kick me in the face from staring too hard, but no. Everybody kept their hands off. Thank God.
But so I saw that Eric Marushchak is drawing a giant mural of Soul Eater, and you have recently been announced as one of the cast members of that. Is that right?
That's right.
Yeah. And so, what character are you going to be playing on that?
Playing the character of Free. He is a immortal werewolf. And actually, the director of the show, Zach, told me, he was like, we have a character for you. It's an immortal werewolf named Free. And I just told him that I loved him for making me an immortal werewolf. I'm a werewolf fan when it comes to vampires or werewolves. It's got to be werewolves for me. I was a Teen Wolf fan growing up. And with the recent Twilight debacle, I have to say, vampires don't sparkle. But, immortal werewolf, and I get to change and stuff. And I think he comes in one of the first few episodes, so they might actually be showing it here, because they're going to debut a few episodes this weekend, and we'll see how it turns out.
And so in addition to that, too, with Soul Eater and some of the other credits I saw, like you've also done work on like Shin-chan, and that was a really funny one. And I think Laura Bailey, who might be joining us in a little bit, does the main voice of Shin-chan. Right. Do you often, since you guys are often in a studio recording your vocal work, do you really have the opportunity to meet the other actors a lot, or not really at all?
The only time we meet each other is if we have a session right after the other person. Otherwise, we may see each other in the halls, since there's several shows recording at the same time at Funimation. We may catch each other on breaks. But otherwise, it's normally at these things that we'll come and we'll, see 5 or 6 of each other, and we're like, hey, we haven't seen each other in forever. But that's actually kind of the fun of it all, because you won't have seen someone for a month, 2 months, maybe longer, and then you're in a show recording, and depending on whether they've recorded before you or not, all of a sudden you hear, one of your friends' voices saying this. In the case of Shin-chan, ludicrous, gross joke or something like that, and it's your job not to crack up in the middle of the line, which usually doesn't happen. I usually break and make a total fool of myself. But we usually don't see each other unless we're at one of these things, and then it's just a party. Yeah.
So now that you're in New York, have you gotten the chance to walk the floor and whatnot since being here? I
did. I got in, and we did our signing for FMA for about an hour and a half. And since Soul Eater's down there signing away, blisters on the hands, I got a chance to walk around the floor. And I mean, it's a big group, and they've got a big showing for for video game competition. Yeah. What is it? It's like Cyber World.
UCG or something like that, and they were doing Counter-Strike and Warcraft and StarCraft. Are you a video game fan, or?
I'm not much of a PC gamer. I love my 360 with a vengeance. Yeah, I know, definitely. Can't wait for Modern Warfare 2 to come out. I spent, far too many hours up at 4 a.m. playing Call of Duty 4, so I'm sure when that comes out, my life will take a dip for the worse. But other than that, Battlefield Bad Company, GTA 4, all those, those are definitely took up too many hours during the week. Yeah.
Yeah, and overall, though, I've never really, this is my first anime festival, but anime fans are amazing. They really blow me away. Like, you do how many of these a year usually?
It depends on the year. If we've got more free time, or if we're promoting a show more, sometimes it'll be, oh God, I don't know, 15 a year. Maybe if we space them out a lot. Sometimes it's no more than 5. Just depending on what our schedules are like. But, obviously the ones with like the bigger cities, like we have one, we're going to Armageddon Expo, which is coming up in Australia and New Zealand. And when the invitation for that came, it's like, no brainer. We're there. New York City, we're there. Vegas, we're there. Any of those cities. And we try and get to the places that, that we haven't had a chance to go to before. I went to Fort Wayne, Indiana this year. I've never been out there before. We're going to Michigan. I'd never been to Detroit, So, we try and spread it out as much as we can. We get requests to go to everywhere that, there is a fan base, and we try and make it out as often as we can. But this is my first time to New York. Really? Yeah, for a con ever. So I'm stoked.
This has been Travis Willingham speaking with Mike Newcomb from the Japan Society from the 2009 New York Anime Festival. Thank you for watching.